Now for the negatives. Okay, the negatives of moving to Ghana, I would say the disadvantages of moving to Ghana. No, the negatives. Yeah. Renting a nice, safe home can be very expensive. They charge in dollars. It got to a point a year or so ago that they said they can't charge in dollars anymore. Don't worry, we'll just charge you the equivalent in dollars. We'll just say it's cedis instead. No, do you know what I mean? It's still very expensive. So there's a lot of places in those kind of good areas, you know, the areas that a lot of tourists like to stay in. We're talking Ridge, East Legon, Cantonments, Airport, residential. Very expensive, and landlords are taking 2 years up front. Now some are taking a year, now some are taking 6 months. But you know, I remember Reggie Manuel in Kwabenya, basically they were charging, if you pay 2 years you can pay 500 Ghana cedis, which is £100 a month, but you have to pay 2 years in advance. When you wanted to pay monthly, you had to pay $1,250 a month. Come on now, that's just unreasonable. And there's no regulations, so people are just charging what they want. And if you want to live here, pay it. Obviously everything's negotiable. Everything in Ghana is negotiable, yes, but still, you know, there should be some sort of maximum that people can charge. I know they're trying to change that now. There's no free healthcare, so no money, no care. If you do not have, you know, private healthcare, obviously for people, residents of Ghana, there is the equivalent of the NHS, but healthcare can also be quite expensive, so do bear that in mind. Malaria to an expat is like, I am dying. I remember I went to my aunt's and I was like, oh god, you okay? She's like, I got malaria. And I'm like, oh my god, you're like, do you want anything? Shall we do anything? And she's like, no, I'll be fine. So that's annoying, that obviously the mosquitoes flying around and you can catch malaria and you can get sick. That's very, very annoying. But the mosquitoes come with the dream. They come with the dream, so deal with them. I mean, for me, I'd stopped taking my malaria tablets because after a while, for me, I was just like, I just stopped taking them. And thank God I didn't get malaria. But malaria tablets are very expensive in Ghana. I do recall inquiring and it was like £10 for one tablet. So, not good. But I would definitely recommend, obviously, taking your malaria tablets, and when people are coming from London, maybe they can bring you some. If people are visiting, they can leave you some of their ones, and you can just take the weekly ones and continue to take that until like your immune system builds up and your blood is just strong like a warrior, you know? This one is quite sad because I know many people that have experienced this, that they've moved to Ghana, they've been there for, you know, 2, 3 years, 4 years, 6 years. They've moved back to their home country. When they've moved back, it's like, you might as well have just been hiding under a rock doing nothing, because they've come back and found it very difficult getting a job. And it's weird because it's like, when black people choose to go home, when you come back to the white man's world, it's like, and you say, you know, I was development manager at this company. It's like, sure, that wasn't your uncle's company. Was that your uncle's company? It doesn't hold much weight than if a white person went to go and work in Africa. It's like, oh my god, you've got international experience. Oh, that must have been tough. But for us, it's like, well, you know, you're just chilling at your uncle's company. I mean, does that company even exist? So that can be quite detrimental, that if you're going and you come back, you know, obviously if you don't want to come back or you're doing your own thing, it's fine. But if you want to come back and get a job, they don't what you was doing in Ghana, unless it was something very, very unique and very specialized, it doesn't really hold much water. So you have to be careful about that. DUM-SOR, light off. Big negative. Big ass negative, because I got to be waking up in the morning and doing my makeup in the dark, you know, to go and look presentable in front of people, do my hair in the dark, to go to work to look presentable. No, that's not on. It's not cool. So Obviously you can have a generator, but it's not easy to put on, so sometimes you got to get someone to go put on the generator. When you're talking about waking people up at 6 o'clock, because Ghanaians get up and start early, they start work early, so you know, it's things like that that you have to consider. And generators, they take a lot of fuel. I know now it's getting a bit better because the elections are coming, but who knows what will happen after the elections. Also, water is not so fluid, you know. You don't turn on your tap every day and just get that water. Certain times it's good to have an electric pump, basically, with your poly tank, so it can pump for you, but you do have to do that on a regular basis, so that also is a bit long, to be honest. Internet is expensive. Y'all are lucky y'all seeing me today. Internet can be very expensive. Not can be, internet is very expensive, so make sure you hold a budget for that, especially if you're on Instagram, on YouTube. Very expensive. There's quite a lot of companies, like I said, obviously I said in my positives, Ghana's developing, so there's a lot of companies that are coming in and they're bringing in new offers, which is good. We need to keep it competitive. That's always good. Competition is always good, because then that kind of regulates what people are charging. You get some good offers, so keep a budget for internet. Not like you can do that, you know, monthly, get it with your Sky TV, paying what, $5.99, $7.99, £10? No. Now, it doesn't take much for people around you to think you're very wealthy, or it doesn't take much for you to look rich. So my advice is to try and just kind of merge in. Like I said, it doesn't take much. Even me with my headscarf and yellow top, you know, I'm standing out. They think, okay, she looks like, you know, she'll have some good electricals at home or in her car, or good phone. So you need to kind of bear that in mind, that there's people that might want to take that away from you. So kind of just keep your stuff together and try and look a bit modest, you know. Don't be too flashy and them type of things, but just, you know, safety is very important. Safety is very, very important. So don't ever kind of feel too relaxed and let your guard down too much. Clothes shopping is just not that good. It's not good at all, actually. You know, there's a lot of people that have set up their own boutiques. They're charging 3 times the amount of a Primark top, and it's like not worth it. So I prefer to get things made. So obviously I think you'll know that the shopping, it's not like you go to the mall and you just go to all these different chains of shops and you got all this stuff. Shopping in Ghana can be expensive, so make sure you got a budget, or get stuff made. Doesn't take much to go to the market and get some fabric and get a seamstress to make it for you. The Ghanaian economy is not stable. Interest rates are not stable. Interest rates are very high. So that, if you've got a mortgage, it can climb from, you know, 500 cedis to 1,000 cedis, just like that. So that, the things like that, you know, you need to be very aware of. You can't really budget to things, because one week the cedi to the dollar could be 3.8. The following week it could be 5.8. So therefore, what you thought that you would have if you changed your dollars would be a certain amount, change it. No, you don't have that amount. So it's very difficult to budget. So that's also something that you should keep in mind when it comes to things that you want to do, because you might think that once you change your money, you'll have a certain amount. But no, it depends on what the rate is. And the Ghanaian economy isn't that stable at the moment. And because Ghana works to the dollar, don't ask me why. That's not your currency. Use cedis, work with cedis. But because they work to the dollar, when the rates are going up and down, so are the prices of the things in the shop. So one week you can go and you can buy something that's imported to the country and it's 5 cedis. You can go to the shop the following week and it's 10 cedis. So it's a bit aggressive like that. So these are things that you must budget for. So there are the positives and negatives of moving or migrating to Ghana. If you have any questions, obviously do ask. Don't forget to follow me and get in touch on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook.